Alright, match 3, game 1, and this seems like GL HF to opponent. I wonder if they... Oh, G-hash! Yeah, good to see you again, G-hash. I'm sure you'll probably be seeing the tweet that may go out on this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm gonna upload this at some point, but yeah, this was a pretty obvious keep. Yeah, I'm glad he likes my content. Yep, cool. Yeah, so I think this was a pretty obvious keep. I mean, I've got I already had 2 prowess creatures. Now I've got 3. I'm guessing the opponent is on Temur Uro. I think I saw on Twitter G-hash tweet about a 5-0 with some type of Uro variant. I'm guessing Field of the Dead too. There is some consideration just playing out all my creatures, but I actually... I'm going to go for Light Up the Stage just because the opponent is mostly tapped out. I don't think Spell Pierce is like popular enough, you know. And Light Up the Stage is such a beating. One of the things that people don't realize about Light Up the Stage that I really like is it helps you find more lands. You know, I mean, they might force negation it, but I think I think that still makes this correct because you want to force them to play Force Negation as early as possible, because the longer, obviously I play Merfolk, so I play a deck that does play Force Negation, so I'm very familiar with how this dynamic works. The longer you have to hold on to Force Negation, the longer you hold on to Force Negation, the better it is, because you have more options on what to pitch. They may not have wanted to pitch that, Is It Charm? It seems like a decent card to pitch, but yeah, just in general, forcing a Force Negation as early as possible is better than Force Negation later. Spice, the Life from the Loam. Yeah, Santa did draw a land. Question, though, is how much do I want to go for broke? Because I could dish out a lot of damage here. I'm going to think about this. Even if I don't flashback Lava Dart, just Firebolt and Lava Dart make this 9 damage plus Firebolt and Lava Dart, so that's 12 damage. That's 8. If I flashback Lava Dart, that's another 4. 1 from the Lava Dart, another 3 Prowess triggers. And, let's just add it all up. That would be 4. That would be 3 4/4s attacking plus 4 damage. So 12. That would be 16 damage. Holy moly! I put them down to 4. There is definitely consideration to putting the opponent down to 4. Not gonna lie. Man, this could be wrong, but considering that they're tapped out, and considering that I don't think they could Uro next turn, but considering that Uroing next turn seems a bit difficult, I think I'm going to do the unthinkable, and I think I'm going to... Yeah, I hope I didn't miscalculate, but that's 16. I'm pretty sure this is 16 damage. Yeah, if they can Uro next turn, this is a disaster, but I'm setting myself up to have a pretty good shot to win. Oh, of course. What am I thinking? Of course they can Uro. They can dredge Life from the Loam. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that feels kind of bad. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I was just I guess caught up in the potential for big damage that I forgot. that Life from the Loam obviously dredges. I wonder. I still would have been extremely vulnerable though to even one counterspell, but I did have just enough damage to deal with this Uro. It's probably not the most easy to like just give a little banter here, but I do. Yeah, I mean this is one of my fans. So this is one of the perks. I'm more likely to just give my little insight in a way during the game. I actually think the positive there's upside here to waiting for the attack, because attacking just doesn't do a lot. They might not block, but they kind of have to. They're at 6, so I think they have to block. And it's interesting, all these little variations they can play. The question is, do I just go for the Bone Crusher now? I mean, I think the answer is yes. There's less likelihood that they can kill my creature in response. I need this to resolve, and I think it's worth the risk that they could kill the... Yeah, because I mean, realistically, they could have done that anyway. I was just doing that then to just make it a little less likely that they would draw a lightning bolt. Oh, wait a minute, I think I might be not paying attention, because they might actually have that might have been the lightning bolt they put on top of their library, which I'm a little surprised that they didn't do that earlier. I think in the back of my mind I was expecting them to play the lightning bolt right away, but they may have held on to it for some reason. And yeah. The thing about Life from the Loam though is that it kind of is even more, it kind of makes Blood Moon and I mean, I guess, why not play it out? I don't think there's really like... To Lightning Bolt in a turn, or to they're going to go up to 7. Hopefully they fetch. Man, I don't know about that. Hey, G-Hash, I don't know about this fetch. I mean, maybe you've got more life gain, maybe you've got another counterspell. If so, I guess that's fine. But you did just open up the possibility of me drawing another Lightning Bolt, which was not here before. And I think for that reason, I think I want to Lightning Bolt in a turn. Otherwise, I probably would have held on to it, but realistically, I was probably drawing dead anyway. Because if I hold on to it, then I have light up the stage, then I can keep going. Which still actually might be reason to hold on to it. I don't think there's really... Like, Bone Crusher Giant is one of my only 2 drops. That doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, I might as well just wait till my turn. And I'm just playing for the Lightning Bolt. Well, there's the Bone Crusher. Alright, well, that is what it is, but But yeah, G-Hash, bro. I think that was a bad fetch right there. Not trying to be, just trying to offer a little constructive criticism. You probably had a counterspell anyway, but I had a little out there that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So yeah, I don't feel too bad about this. Actually, I probably have lost on average a bit more than 50% of my game ones against Euro decks, and it's possible that other players have a better record on the first game than me. For whatever reason, without being able to actually keep Uro under control, I may not actually have the best skill at keeping Uro under control. Either that, or there could be certain variants to it too. But the good news is I think my win percentage in games 2 and 3 is very high. Obviously, I've a good portion of those trophies. There were some number of Uro decks, and basically all of those leagues. I think Firebolt is the cut here. They might play Coatl. Probably not. Actually, definitely not. I think we saw they didn't have Snow Basics. I think you should probably play Snow Basics if you're in blue-green, just for the possibility of Coatl. Your opponent's being afraid of it. Yeah, I mean, can't bring out Lightning Bolt. Obviously, the instant speed burn spells are good at untapping Blister Coil if the opponent has. Oh, I actually remember somebody mentioning something. I can decrease the size here, and maybe also card view. I don't know why it's not on card view actually. Yeah, so for those watching, I don't have to scroll around as much, and I can also increase the size here. I am actually aware of this, but thank you for pointing out that it could be a little bit frustrating on the video to have to see me cycle through this. And I guess I'll put this to card view too. No, actually, I kind of like the sideboard being like, it can be a little more selective in how I bring the cards out. But yeah, I think this is where I want to be. Sorry for the long sideboarding G-Hash, but also commenting too, as you know. Let's see how this goes. Yep, got Blood Moon, got a turn 1 Prowess creature. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I misplay too. I obviously did not see that Life from the Loam shenanigan. I was, I guess, thinking more just in terms of the lands rather than the benefit of dredging. I obviously would have had to have 3-for-1 myself, though, and lost a land to deal with that Uro, so it was not a foregone conclusion at all that I would have won, but I definitely think it would have been closer, win or lose. But let's focus on the game at hand now. I think it makes sense to Lava Dart. I don't think they'd play any 2-damage burn spells, and I don't see myself sacking a mountain here for for protecting it from Lightning Bolt. I think the opponent, being a fan of mine, is probably familiar with my Blood Moon tech. That being said, yeah, still might have to play where, ooh, would have been nice to draw land and slam Blood Moon, but I will definitely take Relic too, and hopefully no Force of Negation. And obviously Engineered Explosives would be a beating, but I do think I'm going to play Lava Dart too, just because, again, I don't really think they're playing Coatl. I don't really see myself flashing it back to save my creature. This only really makes me super vulnerable to okay, if you had a Force of Negation, I think you should have gone after Relic, but, well, let's see. I could be totally wrong, but in my experience, Relic is very, very helpful in these matchups. Not too bad. Alright, hope you, if you got Force and Negation, I guess you're saving it for Blood Moon too. This could be another consideration. Which, you know, I'm guessing probably the opponent is, because the opponent is familiar with my tech. I think they watch my content. But let's see though. Maybe I should just go for the win. That way no, but then I shut myself off a Blood Moon next turn, and I think there's a pretty high likelihood that a Force and Negation is in my future. And I think I technically have lethal anyway, because I can just 2, then another 2 from the Prowess trigger and the dart, then another 2. So that's 2, 4, 6. Actually, that's 6. That's not a lethal. But I think, see, Blood Moon still makes more sense, because, you know, either they have Force and Negation here, yeah, which obviously they do, or they basically just lose, which was also true of the Bone Crusher, but this way I don't have to lose 2 Lava Darts. Well, I guess I wouldn't have to either, because they probably would have Forced and Negation the Bone Crusher. But I have to imagine that there's a pretty high likelihood that I win next turn anyway, just from them being so low on life. If I didn't have the Relic, it might have been correct to play the Bone Crusher, just because I would have had to have relied on the Blood Moon a lot more. Yeah, I think that's fine. In case the opponent has Spell Pierce, I'll just stomp now. I don't think they really would play anything that would make me want to stomp it. All these fetchings do add up here too, as you can see. This makes it so that it's got to be difficult for the opponent to deal with Bone Crusher Giant, because if they do, they take 2 damage. And I might as well play the Blister Coil too. Again, this makes me a little more vulnerable to Engineer Explosives, but just having more creatures I can attack with next turn seems pretty good. This does also make me more vulnerable to Fire Sprout, but like I said, I usually regret more not going for it. Yep. Alrighty. See how the last game goes, but I have to imagine being on 4 Blood Moons is still where I want to be. Just because, even though it doesn't really shut them off a red, it's just, you know, being able to control Uro, and obviously some hands like that one would have still lined up very well against Blood Moon if it resolved. I mean, I have to imagine it's better EV than either Firebolt or Flame Slash. Plus, I can always ditch it with Seasoned Pyromancer. So I'm going to run this back. And again, another advantage to Seasoned Pyro, or I should say, yeah, the Seasoned Pyromancer, but also the 4 Horizon lands, is that I'm not leaning as heavily on the Firebolt for card advantage. This is an interesting dilemma here. But considering there's no Blood Moon, no Relic, and no 3rd land drop, I think I have to mulligan. Obviously, this would be pretty insane if I drew a 2nd land. I've got 2 turns to do it. I don't... but also... Fire Sprout just wrecks his hand too bad too, I think. I am going to mulligan. There definitely was more consideration than probably met the eye. If I would have known this would have been my 6-card hand, I probably would have kept. But let's see what the 5-card hand looks like. This is actually not bad. I psych my opponent out. No, actually, I have to put 2 to the bottom. Well, you know, probably would have kept the first hand if I would have known that this would have been my 5-card hand. But I do have another land, which the other one didn't have. Since they can't play... Red and 6 next turn anyway, there's some consideration of playing Blister Coil. But I kind of like the idea of playing Blister Coil with Lightning Bolt up. Just could incentivize them to go for it and ping it, and then I can possibly save it. Seems like some awkward mana from opponent. Okay, well, I actually think that probably probably stomping and then blister coiling. Or stomping and then playing it next turn. I mean, I could also play blister coil weird, but I don't want to. I know it seems unlikely they got fire sprout. I just kind of like getting the 2 damage off of Bone Crusher. This is. I wonder, why did you keep this hand? You didn't mulligan, did you? Did I miss it? I wasn't paying attention. Let's see. I'm bad at counting cards, but seems like a bad hand. Probably it's a situation where one better draw can probably make the difference. I camouflage the land until after I attack. I probably didn't need to be as cautious about playing around Fire Sprout as I was, but at the same time, you know, I was unlikely. I mean, I was unlikely to get a ton more damage anyway by playing the Blister Coil as opposed to the Stomp It in a turn. That can't feel good. Oh, probably a... Is it Charm? See, the thing is if you're using Is It Charm for draw 2, discard 2, it's kind of like you're already mulliganing. So I have to imagine the opponent did a mulligan somewhere, because otherwise I'm definitely curious to hear what happened here. G-Hash, if you happen to be watching, because it seems like you would think this would be a mulligan. And see, that's why it was a good idea I did not play Blister Coil weird. Well, I think I am going to be a little more... Actually, I don't need to. I can play Blister Coil weird, and I can put Obosh in my hand, and then I can go for the haste turn next turn. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just kind of feel like that was a situation where there should have been a mulligan, most likely. Because it also must be frustrating here that there you don't have double green for Uro. This could have easily been good game, you know, with double green, but also such an awkward hand. Well, that helps for next turn. Hopefully I can slam the Obosh. Well, yeah, I don't know if it's a land in hand or not, but I think I'm going to slam the Obosh. I mean, sure, opponent can buy back the Tarn and escape the Uro, but if the Obosh lives, then I can just Lightning Bolt it and go for Ren and 6 with the Swift Spear, and I think I'll be in a pretty commanding lead. Obviously, they could have Mana Leak. All right, well, good game if they do have Mana Leak. Okay, no, so let's see. I think this could be interesting. I think the opponent is going to buy back the Scalding Tarn. I have to imagine the opponent had a fetch land in hand anyway, because, you know, dealing with the Blister Coil weird has its merits, but I have to imagine being able to resolve Uro is superior, and, you know, giving me the option to take the opponent off of Uro mana seemed unlikely, given the opponent knows what I'm up to. And see, the opponent had to go for the Cryptic Command, and I get to play Relic. Sweet. So I think here the plan is pretty clearly to try to get Ren off the board. Also, you know, also crack the Relic. Well, this was a lucky draw, but I think this was kind of facilitated by... Yeah, good play. I think this was facilitated by the fact that we went for Obosh last turn instead of Lightning Bolting Ren. To a crack, I don't really see what that does. I do think I want to just get rid of Ren. And I probably should have done that actually before cracking the Relic. Just take the opponent off of one more card in the grave. I guess there was some consideration, though, to if I drew like a Prowess creature. That's probably what I was thinking, if I drew another Swift Spear. But the opponent is rebuilding after the apocalypse, in a way, so to speak, on both sides. It's not like I was left with a huge board. So they'll actually be in pretty decent shape if they can mana leak this. Alright, well, let's see. Did you draw mana leak? Ahaha. Alright, well, it is on, as they say. It is on like Donkey Kong. Alright, what do we got here? Aha! It's not that bad. I don't think I want a Lava Dart in response, or do I? Nah, I don't want to. So I never know if it combines with something to deal with a Uro later in my future. But I think the opponent using Cryptic Command there is a very good sign. See, if I did actually Lava Dart, I could have had lethal right here from Flashback. You know, Lava Dart for 2, they would have done an 8, Flashback Lava Dart. 8, ooh. And it kind of looks like, ooh, kind of regretting. Well, I think I gotta go for the 6 damage. I mean, the only problem is, yeah, I think I gotta go for the 6 damage. Uro would be the worst possible draw. That was definitely some consideration to playing. Oof, when they tapped 3, I got nervous. Now going for another burn spell. Or another relic. I think I'm gonna crack relic. I normally like being a little more. I'm okay with that. Because now I could possibly just have lethal, depending on what I draw. Again, Horizon Lands can be good. I think relic. Yeah, you know, cracking here doesn't make sense to me because you know, I wouldn't be able to. Well, no. I could have played a Prowess creature. You know. Oh, well, this way I get to hit Our Promise for Snapcaster shenanigans. Yeah. Well, this really puts the clock on. Yeah, I think I have to. And yep, I think that's good game. Well, good game, G-Hash. It was a pleasure playing you again. Definitely, I am curious to know. What do you think? All right, cool games. All right, next game. That was interesting, and definitely the opponent was very much in that the whole time. Our Promise seems to be the new thing. Got to keep that in mind. In retrospect, probably I should have cracked the Relic one turn earlier. The odds of that making a humongous difference aren't that much, especially considering the main reason to do that would be for a Prowess creature, which would have been shut down by the zombie tokens anyway. But anyway, yeah, cool matches. Definitely curious to know what that was like from the opponent's side, if you happen to be watching. G-Hash, good games. Let's go on to the next.